Good evening, November Foxtrot.
Yo.
What's up,
Hello,
homie
hello.
G's?
Wagwan.
What?
All that jazz.
How are we both?
We
Tired.
are both good, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Ready for the weekend?
It's
Yes,
Wednesday.
man.
It's only Wednesday.
Yeah, halfway.
Weekend starts today, people.
Woo!
Oh, I've already been waiting for the weekend since Saturday.
Oh, don't. Evening, Stewie. Evening, peoples.
Yeah, hello, Harry, Pegasus, Mark, Call Sign Chewbacca, Paulus Wales, Kenny Rebel, Oscar Hyatt, Harry, Kenny, Chris, hello, Chris, Michael Brewer, Daniel Guest, Rage, Landnav Challenge, James, Stuart, the Roscoe, Les, Damien, Ryan, hello, welcome. Good evening.
Evening. Thank you for taking your precious time to enjoy us.
Yummy.
I want to say a little shout out to everyone that sent me various videos and clips to incorporate. So we have some new sound bites tonight. It's very exciting. I do need to have a chat with Paulus Wales because I can't remember what the Welsh was for the things he gave me as clips. So if you could just let us know, Paul, when it comes up in the show later on, that'd be grand because I could just be actively flaunting Welsh swearing. Who knows?
Just do one now.
Oh, Paulus. What's that?
Whee!
What's that?
I don't know. I recorded them at the weekend and I've forgotten.
It sounds joyous. So it should be something nice,
yeah.
I'd imagine.
It means excellent. It's the one I remember. I don't think that was the excellent one. I think that was the other one. But anyway,
the other one.
We have a jam pack. Oh, I can do.
Bendigedig.
I think that was the excellent one.
Wallop.
Oh, I hoped it meant wallop.
I don't have a soundbite of a monkey for Lance yet, Rage. So I'll work on that one. Right, we've got a jam-packed show tonight. We're going to be talking about the Okto8 debrief. We're going to be talking about plate carriers. We've got a whole bunch of news. So let's get started and crack on, and we'll roll with some news first.
Oh, fuck. News.
I kick my gun and I go, pew, 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 pew.
News.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I nearly caught him.
I couldn't reach my piece of paper in time. I was like, this is the news. Oh, I didn't do actual. Oh, no, bugger. I'm so sorry. I've had a massive brain fart. I forgot I didn't do Thames Valley, did I? There we go. Welcome to the news segment.
There we go.
There we go. That's it.
Right, Andy, you have been absolutely jamming the chat with news this week, so
I have.
I'll let you crack on, and then I'll chip in when I remember things.
Terry G, yo.
So, the first main news is Lance is now dentist.
Did a bit of extraction about an hour ago.
Yeah, literally before the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was worried. Yeah, the chicken wings are dangerous, man. Yeah, I snapped a tooth in half eating chicken wings, and then it was annoying, so I extracted the other half with pliers. Feels good.
So I actually have a small dental set that Prepper's Shop sold me for like $5 because it was cheap, and I get excited by stuff like that. I think it's new, so that should be fine. But if you ever need any dentistry stuff, I'll give you the tool. I'll be Lance's dental assistant, and then Lance could be the dentist.
We'll get a little surgery set up at Shift Your Riffs or something.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? It'd be like Little Shop of Horrors, wouldn't it? Just fucking chaos.
Mike sitting there with a little nurse's outfit on.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll attend Shift Your Riffs
just for that. Yeah. It'd be worth it just for that.
Oh dear. Hi Jazz. Hi Andrew. Hello.
Hi.
Hello from Manchester tonight. Fantastic.
So proper news. JBG still have some spots left for their EOMOE course on the first. Is that right?
Probably doesn't.
That was just a series of letters. Explosive Message Adventure.
EMO.
EMO. E.
Yeah.
A.
Course on the 1st of June. July.
Yeah.
What's next month?
Echo.
1st
Hello?
of June.
Echo.
I could never be a news reporter. So
No, you
yeah,
couldn't.
they've got they've got a few spaces left. I will be attending. These two lazy gits aren't going. But
I'm
I
on
will be there.
holiday. I'm doing something. I'm busy.
No, it doesn't matter.
I'm travelling back from
Excuses.
holiday, I think, that day.
It's just poor
Yes,
excuses.
I am. Mm.
What was the other thing? National Airsoft Festival have finally released a reply to the hundreds and thousands of people that have messaged him saying, like, can you justify it? So if you haven't seen it,
Nope.
it is yeah. If you
So
haven't read it, it's worth having a little read. Still doesn't.
We're not going to spend
explain a lot.
ages talking about this, but
No.
I do want to just chip in
Don't talk
for
about it
20
at all,
seconds
Will,
if
'cause I'm
possible.
bored to
No, I'd like
fuck
to.
about
I'd
it.
like to.
Oh.
So I don't fully disagree with NAE's stance or NAF stance in terms of having to raise the prices. I get that. I do. We're in a tough situation and things are getting more expensive. Right? Fair. I think the problem stems from the fact that over the last few years there's been seemingly not loads of issues, but progressively more issues than what people remember. You know, I've been going since 2015. And I can remember the first time I went, it was a cracking event. Like, you got a full pack of freebies when you arrived. You know, you go into the shop, they've got literally the whole of 01 in the shop. So it's this massive shop. They've got everything in there. And there was a whole load of freebies then and there as well. Like, the site was a lot more usable because it wasn't quite so over vegetated or anything like that. And it was just a proper cracking event. And then sort of since then, it's sort of subsequently just not tarnished per se, but it's just not been as good as that first time for me. And then they've obviously put the prices up. They've taken away the night game because of the insurance and stuff like that. So I get it, but I think the problem is that they haven't gone about it in the right way. And I think that's reflecting from that. So that's my stance on it, if anyone really cares about my opinion. But
I always care about your
I just
your
don't care
opinion.
about the topic.
No, I just it was news.
I love your
so I
opinion
found some.
on all sorts of things. It's just I literally couldn't give a shit.
No, they have. I think the main thing that I took away from their thing is that they are no longer doing the staggered price rising, because it was going to be going from like 150 to 175 if you're booking sort of within the month.
Right. Yeah.
And that seems counterintuitive. If you want to sell tickets, you don't put the price up, you put the price down. Like, you know. But
so would they have sold?
Sorry, Andy, go on.
No,
That's all right.
Sorry, I'm not going to get involved. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
No, that's it. That's the news. The other bit of news is that Rift Airsoft have recently secured a warehouse in Huntington. And somehow the BBC got hold of it, so it became a news article. I don't know why. Maybe Huntington doesn't have a lot of interesting facts going on. But
did you both read the news article, by the way?
Yeah. No. So when they say, also, I spoke to Tony. I said, "Oh, how did the interview go?" And he goes, "No, they just took it off the website." So they didn't actually. When they say, "Oh, Riff says," like they just stole it off the website.
What particularly amused me is throughout the whole article they used commas for airsoft. Yeah. So plans for a new combat sport facility where players would hit each other, etc., will be converted into a space for airsoft. And the comma there to me is like that infers that it's not airsoft. That's like it's airsoft.
Yeah. It's where we touch each other.
Rift Airsoft said airsoft involves participants eliminating their opponents by hitting them with spherical, low-powered projectiles, which I thought was just an amusing article. So if anyone's interested, go and have a read. Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
But yeah, we'll put the article up on our page. So if you want to have a little read of something rather amusing, but yeah, it's going to be a cracking indoor site, 2 levels. Yeah, very excited to see how that progresses.
Yeah, it should be really good for airsoft.
Yeah, and
can you get Tony to sign up outside saying?
Yeah, in brackets. So congratulations to Tony and all the Rift guys for securing that.
That's good.
And then the last one is we have had confirmation that JBG will be helping us on our MNE event on the
Enemy.
4th of August.
Enemy.
Enemy. Come on. Give me the acronyms.
On the 4th of August. We will be getting information up within the next week or so. And tickets will be going on sale hopefully sometime this month.
Whoop, whoop.
We
Yeah,
will
boy.
we'll have a Q&A session soon, I think. I think it's next week, isn't it?
It can be.
Should we do? Yeah, should we do a Q&A section?
We can do it next week. That's fine.
So we'll do a Q&A next week. So if you have,
we'll do the
any
big release
questions-
next week. That gives me
Yeah,
enough
yeah.
time to get all the branding and stuff sorted out. So that'll be
Yeah.
fine.
So we'll
Good
plug
old
it.
AI is going to be going
It'll be a
overtime.
good. Yeah. it'll be a good good time to get the information or ask any questions that you'll be having there. But JBG are very kindly offering their services to give us some proper training.
I think Charlie still feels guilty for injuring me. I think that's why. Severely injuring me.
So yeah, I think that's kind of all the news that I gathered
Yeah.
during the week.
Any news from
Yeah.
you, Lance?
No, I don't think so. Not that what Andy's covered already. I'm good.
None from me.
Pew, 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 pew.
Right. So
Professional.
next topic, we're going to be talking about Okto8. Andy was unfortunately unable to attend this last weekend's event. Lance and I both attended. We were both on JTF.
Hello.
It was a very good event.
It was.
Andy's going to ask us some questions. If anyone else wants to throw any questions in the chat, I'm aware that there were lots of people in the chat who were at the event as well. On one of the three factions, so you had Tizit, who were the kind of civilian forces turned
Indigenous
rebels
people.
turned, yeah, like
Yeah.
I think at one point they were classed as terrorists, and they're kind of like this various force. Then you've got JTF, who's your Joint Task Force. It's kind of the NATO side of things, who are there as special forces to help out the local populace to kind of deal with their
Predicament.
coup, I guess would be the best way.
There's
And then you've got
lots of bother.
PMC. their little predicament.
Yes.
Oopsie. And then you got PMC, who are the private military contractors who had effectively, for the storyline, taken over the country. The kind of the ruler of the PMC has decided to make himself a, I'm the leader now. I'm the captain now. So that's what
I am the captain now.
So Andy's going to ask some questions, and we will field that.
Yes. So
Yes, you are.
how I could just say, "How's the weekend?" Off you go, and then I could just. That's me done.
Yeah.
See ya.
Later, Tater.
Fair enough. Go on, then, Lance. You start first.
So what was the
I thought that was actually a
no.
question.
So what was the premise behind this event? What was the storyline? Because I know Okto, they do like their in-depth storylines. So what was the build up to this event this time for people that weren't able to attend?
Well, from my obviously, I didn't attend the one previous to this, so I'm not au fait with the story. But although I did gen up a little bit with the briefings that come out leading up to the event. So basically, Phoenix, who are the PMC, have essentially ousted the Tizit leader, and then have taken control and ownership of his lands, this, that, and the other. JTF have discreetly infilled or covertly infilled into the AO to get eyes on, sort of start to gather intel on what's going on, PMC movements, what they're up to, try and win the hearts and minds of the Tizit populace and link up with their sort of bands of rebels or freedom fighters, as they were known towards the end, and sort of find a way to remove the PMC foothold in the area to try and get Tizit some sort of like backup and get them back up on their feet. That was like the main premise, was for us to oust the PMC and sort of like kibosh a lot of their operations that they're going on, as well as like the little sideliney bits that sort of developed throughout the weekend. So it was good. The story, the build up and the story and the background that we got, the intel package from Baz and Josh and the guys at MilSim and Okto is always fantastic. There's always loads of detail in that there to read up on, so it gets you in the mood and the spirit of the game and stuff. So that was essentially it. JTF insert, link up with Tizit, oust PMC, do in between. Happy days. I think that's about right, Mike.
I don't think I could really add anything to that, to be fair.
So for people that haven't been to an Okto event, how did the weekend progress in regards to games? Not games, but the gameplay. Any stops, breaks, things like that.
I'll cover this one, Lance. So the Okto event basically, for all intents and purposes, starts on a Friday night. If you can get there early on a Friday night, you have the opportunity to kind of set up your tent, have a little bit of a social, chill out, chat to the organisers, chat to some of the other people there. The game then starts on a Saturday, starts with the classic briefing, gives you an idea about kind of how the day's going to progress. That then rocks out into the kind of the very typical factions moving off to their relevant areas to where the game will then start. For us, the initial kind of premise was getting out on the ground, investigating certain areas, trying to get an idea of where things were, what was going on. We kind of linked up with Tizit quite quickly. We didn't really stop for lunch, I would say. I mean, I know on the Saturday I didn't eat anything until pretty much close of game. I don't know about you, Lance.
Sort of out on the go, really, as and
Yeah.
when. I mean,
I know we've been
the diet that I'm on now, it sort of limits what I can snack on. So I think I had a can of corned beef for the Saturday, and sort of at half pre-lunch and half post-lunch. Very simple.
I know some of the previous events we've had, sort of a lot of people sort of drop out for lunch, and they tended to be, in my mind, less MilSim players. Almost more like, right, we're just here for, you know, an experience as opposed to our normal skirmishing. This probably was more MilSim players that were there, sort of people that were quite experienced. So I don't think there was really kind of any drop out for lunch. A lot of people just got cracked on throughout the day.
Yeah.
Okto8, I've heard tell is there's two reasons it's called Okto8 as far as I'm aware, and I'm happy for people to correct me. So Okto8 is the kind of the call sign for when your comms have gone to mush. So it's kind of like a play on a bit of chaos and stuff. There's lots of things going on. You can't really kind of necessarily get a full idea of the picture. And then also the games are effectively 8 hours. So there's no overnight activity at all in terms of gameplay. So you effectively stop or index for the first day at about sort of 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And that then gives you a chance to pause. There's a debrief for that day. And then everyone goes and basically has a bit of food. And it's a bit more of a social in the evening. So again, it's kind of like a continuation of the Friday night, really. Chance to potentially have a few drinks if you want to, obviously being sensible. And then it cracks on again on the Sunday. So, you know, the gameplay sort of continues on the Sunday. And the Eversley site, I've never been to the Eversley sites with Gunman, and they're just an absolutely awesome site. You've got a proper Viking village. You've got a proper kind of Wild West town. You've got a proper Vietnam camp. There's kind of the disused fort, which was, I mean, the disused fort would put a lot of other sites to shame in terms of some of their structures, and that wasn't the best bit at that site, basically.
Crazy.
So you kind of got all sorts of, there's a wicker man out in the middle of the freaking woods, which was quite terrifying. Kind of just on patrol, and you come across this great kind of wicker statue, which was a bit scary. But yeah, that's the general premise of an Okto event.
So obviously you had some weather this weekend, didn't you?
Well, luckily enough, it was all right for a majority of the playtime. To be fair, I mean, Friday arrival was fine. Lovely chilled evening by the fire, nice and warm, couple of drinks. Nice to catch up with some faces I've not seen for a very long time. And then got our reds down, up bright and early Saturday morning. Everything squared away, ready to go. Briefings out on the ground. I don't think we had any rain or anything Saturday daytime. Saturday evening, different story altogether. So the game finished. Everyone sort of got back to their digs.
It started to rain.
And then it sort of started to spit. And then sort of come 8 p.m, it was just absolutely bucketing down. And it didn't let up until 7 o'clock the next morning, 8 o'clock the next morning. And it was still sort of spitting then into the start of game. And then it sort of stopped. So yeah, we weren't lucky with the weather Saturday night. But that didn't affect the gameplay, essentially. You know, the ground was a little bit wetter on the Sunday, but yeah, it was fine. It was fine. It was okay.
Yeah, no flooding or anything at all.
No, it's fine, mate. Yeah, I was faster kip in the back of the truck, so I remained lovely and dry. You know, in fact, if anything, I got a little bit of condensation inside, so I just cracked the window a little bit. That's fine.
It was a bit too warm at times.
Yeah.
I was a little bit. In fact, I was a little bit too comfortable. I'm used to that. You're used to that. Yeah. I
mean,
actually,
we've
I
said
actually
this
went
before.
outside and picked up a rock to put under my mattress in the car,
Yeah.
just so I could feel that feel. You know.
Feel that ground.
Yeah.
We've said this before. Okto's kind of like it's a very good opportunity for people that have never done a MilSim before to kind of ease yourself into it. You know, it gives you that full immersion. It gives you some good firefights and gameplay. It gives you a good feel for, you know, potentially you got to be on stag for a little bit, kind of in an area, so you kind of get used to having a bit of downtime. But at the same time as well, you're not running for a full 48 hours. You know, you get that chance to stop, catch your breath. You can deal with things that aren't working, change your kit up and stuff. So it's a really good opportunity for that. Mike Bruce at the zero flooding in the hotel.
Oh, I know. Such a tosser. He said, I think he said to me at one point, he said, I got incredibly wet, but I was in the shower completely naked at the time. I was like, well, that's all right then.
So how was the overall gameplay throughout the weekend? Was there anything that you'd like to pick up on at all? Something that maybe if the organisers are listening to that you'd like to feed back to them or anything like that?
We're going to address the elephant in the room here, because there was a lot of issues with, well, I say issues. There was a lot of moaning about hit taking. Right now, for whatever reason, Okto have kind of, they're trying to deal with it. They don't want people to be coming out of the game moaning about people hit taking.
Can I just add a caveat to that quickly? Just very quickly. So I want to make it quite clear that it wasn't consistent all weekend. If people have got the idea that it's just people not hit taking. I had a couple of incidents that I was witness to. Someone else had a couple of incidents. Someone else had a couple of incidents. So it was just like isolated incidents over the course of the weekend. It wasn't just like consistently. For 90% of the time it was fine, but there was a couple that were like, "Come on." That's what I want to make it quite clear now. That it's just consistently not hit taking. That's not the case at all. But there was a few things.
Yeah, and one of the things that sets Okto events apart is that they have a kind of staged hit system. So if you get hit in the torso or the head, that's classed as you're hit. That's a kind of very traditional for anyone that's ever been skirmishing. I am hit, and therefore require a medic or respawn or whatever. They then have a system whereby if you are shot in a limb, you can lose that limb but carry on playing. So if I was shot in my left arm, I can continue to fight with my right arm. If I lose both legs, I can just sit down and continue to fire with my arms. With a rifle, I'm not just sitting there going pew 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 pew. If you are shot in your primary weapon, you can revert to your secondary weapon. So there's complexities to it, basically. And I don't think that helps. I think that there are times where people think, "Oh, I've hit them," and then it's not necessarily clear that it was an arm hit instead of a torso hit, for example. So they've carried on shooting because potentially that person is right to do so. Whereas the person that's shooting at them might be of a different opinion. So I think there's just levels of complexity to it. And I mean, I know Lance and I have both been party to not fully remembering the Okto rules because we've been in combat against each other and both gone, and then both panicked and then both shot each other and it was absolute chaos. So
normally, if I get hit, I just put my arm up. I don't know. Then about an hour later, I go, "Oh bollocks! I could have just fucking got the pistol out."
It was like when me and Lance were having that shooting match at the end of the last one that all three of us did. When you were on, when we were on JTF, and you shot me in the arm, so I ducked down and rolled back out, and then he shot me in the leg. So I was like, "Oh God!" And then he shot me in the other leg. So there's me literally worming across with the LMG.
It's a flesh wound.
Yeah, I'm just like,
but I mean, ultimately, that does breed a bit of contention straight away because if you can see rounds landing, but they're still shooting back, then immediately people can be like, "Oh, you're not taking your hit." So I don't think necessarily. There's always a problem in airsoft with hit taking. Everyone glows, "Oh, I hit you," but let's be honest with you. We're firing toy guns. Like you've got wind, you've got vegetation, you've got just freaking every other potential factor that affects your gun. How many times have you seen people shooting where they haven't even got BBs coming out because they haven't wound the mag on, or the mag's not connected properly, or oh yeah, I'm lacing you up, mate, but you're not.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's. I think hit taking issues boil down to 50-50 personally. I think you've got issues with some people not necessarily feeling it because of whatever reason, plate carriers, hoodies, etc., not actually getting hit to start with. You've got different rules and things like that, and then you've got the things affecting the person shooting. So maybe the hit taking wasn't as bad as it was coming across. I know that there are always going to be potentially 1 or 2 incidents of things happening. People's adrenaline gets up and it happens. So whether it was as bad as it came across to the point of where Okto have had to kind of actually start putting out statements to say, look, we're going to deal with this, we're going to change the rules, etc., probably wasn't that bad. But unfortunately, that was kind of the main takeaway. And so that's the only thing I think we're going to really talk about hit taking tonight, unless Lance wants to chip in any further. But
not really, mate. No, it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, I get it. I get the frustration because I've been on the receiving end of it, and it is frustrating. It's as frustrating as hell when someone's banged to rights and they're just clearly not observing the rules and being very dishonourable. And it does make you very, very cross. And at times it can, it's very difficult to not want to say something. I mean, I've had incidents where players been sort of like 10, 12 foot away, literally the other side of a palisade fence or anything like that, and it's literally gone pop and nothing. And then I'm hit, and I'm like, okay, hit. I'm like, and it's difficult because when you clearly know, and I see some people and they sort of plaster of like a bush or a tree line, and there is an enemy player in there, and I've got him. I must have got him. It's like, well, did you see that you'd hit him? No, but you don't know then, do you? So you can't jump up and down saying I got someone when you clearly didn't. It's different if they're the other end, they're 10 meters away and you've pinged one off of them, and you can clearly see that they've flinched and they know they've been hit. Then that is frustrating, really, very much so. But from an event organizer, I mean, how the hell do you combat that? I mean, you can't. Yeah. You can't combat that. And Josh has said it, and Baz and all the guys at Okto have said it's down to the players that make the event, and it's down to their honesty. And if you're unsure of whether you've been hit, then just take the hit. I was medicing someone in on the Saturday, and a couple of rounds come in, and they hit the guy that I was medicing, and I was sort of directly, we had a tree, and then a guy, and then me behind him. I sort of slid in behind the tree and him, mediced him. Round came in, I wasn't sure if he got me or not, but the guy in front of me got hit, and I sort of presumed, I said, go, right, yeah, I'm hit as well. And that was my second hit, so it's like, bleed out time. And that's it, and that's what you do at the end of the day. And it can be frustrating. You think, oh, right on top of an objective, but if you're not sure, then, you're better off just taking the hit and worrying about it later on. And if everyone thought like that, then it'd be much better. There'll be no complaints.
Yep.
So hopefully going forward at the next one, it'll be a vast improvement. And it's good to air it so people are aware, to people who are guilty of not taking hits, because there is people out there that don't take the hits. I don't know why they play airsoft if they do that. I get accidentally not getting, when I've been clocked in the bag a couple of times, and I said that to Josh at the event. We was talking after the first day, and just said, I remember being hit in the backpack, and the guy was like, mate, I actually hit you in the bag. And I was like, oh, that's a really shit shot, but I will take it because it's my bag. But there's a lot of Lance here for you to hit. Try and hit Lance. Don't hit Lance.
Well, there's a lot less Lance than there used to be.
But that's half the issue with plate carriers, especially for all of us that are wearing like either weighted or padded sections in your plate carrier.
Yeah.
If you get hit in the back while you're running, you ain't going to feel that. Not in a like. And I've been called out on it, but like literally by a marshal. He's gone, you just got hit in the back. I was like, generally didn't even feel it, but yeah, fine.
Okay, fine. Yeah, that's it. Exactly that.
And with all the pouches,
it takes that polite little interaction to say, mate, you've been in the back. Cool, no worries, didn't feel it, but cool. And that's it.
Yeah. Because if someone, I know it sounds mental, but if if someone said, "Oh, I hit you in the back while you were running away," I'd be like, "Not a problem. Absolutely trust you. That's fine." If someone comes effing and blinding over me, going to like and starts rearing up at me, going, "Oh, I've hit you 1,000 times," blah blah blah, you're gonna instantly get your defense on. It's just the way. It's just the way a human. Yeah, it's just the way a human reacts with someone coming effing and blinding at them. You're going to get in a defense. You're going to get defensive, and I think that's half of it as well. If you hit someone, don't go just charging over there. Just say, "Mate, I hit you." If they still kick off, you go, "Okay," and just go off to somewhere else.
But I do get it. It's
It's not-
frustrating.
Yeah,
We
it
can
is
all
frustrating, but
agree on that. Anyhow,
Because your original question, Andy, was like, what was the takeaway from the event?
yeah, not
it's
that.
not
So let's not focus anymore on the negative aspect of it, because it was a bit frustrating, but ultimately it is what it is. My key takeaways were my knee was fucked from the Thursday because I knelt down on my bedroom carpet, and I'm clearly getting to the age where if I do normal things, my knee
Kneeling.
hurts, like kneeling. So I really pushed myself too far on the Saturday in terms of I was running as Alpha 1 for the whole JTF team. So there's a lot of kind of moving about and everything like that. And then, we tried to sort of engage in a few positions. So rather than hang back, sort of trying to lead from the front as much as I could. Lots of crawling, and then did far too much damage to my knee that the Sunday I was unable to really move. Fortunately, ended up being able to play a cripple and wandering around with a load of bells on me. The actual bell that I had. So that was quite good fun, because got to do a lot more immersion and role play and stuff, and kind of just be a pain in the arse to PMC, really, which was really good. It was really good.
We I think both of us tested Tim's patience to the brink in that village at some point.
Andy, you remember Defiance event?
Yeah.
It was like that.
I feel like we're going to
now.
Yeah, I might get stopped from like role playing as civilians at some point, because I think I just become too much of a pain in the ass.
It's bad when you get stopped from being a role player.
Yeah,
because a lot of events cry out for them.
The poor PMC chap. Was it Greg who was following us around?
I think his name was Greg. I felt so sorry for him.
He literally had to follow me around because I just kept wandering off.
And I'd sort of pull his attention to him. We'd be chatting, and then he looked around, and Mike's just gone. All he could hear was this bell jingling around the village somewhere. He's like, "Oh fucking hell, where's he gone now?" He's like, "No, come
back." Harry Badger rocked up. He had a plasma rifle as well.
That was
like on the Friday night or Saturday night. And when I say plasma rifle,
can we share?
I do, but I don't have it to hand. So I will put it on our socials. But this is like a proper, like, you hold the trigger to like release gas into it, and then you pull a little piezo igniter, and then it runs the flame around, and it goes boom. It's really
Andy, you'd have
cool.
loved it.
It's not an airsoft gun. It's not an airsoft gun. It's just a cool bit of science.
And giggles. Yeah,
that's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
He's also Harry Badger's just such a clever bloke. He's also got like the laptops, just phenomenal to me. So the way that they were communicating from like the command of each faction to the game organizers, rather than having radios, Harry's worked up a laptop system where you effectively type in like a text messaging system, so you can type in commands. Yeah, and then that throws that over a USB cable to the HQ, who's got both sitting there, so they can kind of provide commands to the command structure instead of having to kind of deal with comms and like radios and stuff. It's literally all through like text-based stuff, which is just really
like
cool.
An internal text messaging service. It was fantastic. Any questions, any queries during the game, that can be typed in, sent across, and then instantly get a response back from Josh, and that's fantastic. What a great thing to add to an element of the game, especially if you had to capture a terminal and you're actually communicating with someone. It's not just like go and find the laptop, which is fucked, and just it's a laptop.
It's an old bit of laptop. Like this was a proper.
This was like you're engaging with someone on a terminal at the other end. If you had a mission like that, for example, that's awesome quality stuff. Cool. Really good. Yeah. I mean,
and we had to work out where the comms hut was. So we're following the cable along.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, like, on that Okto's props and their film sim and their characters and stuff, there's second to none. You won't find better. You really won't. The effort and that goes into their props and their characters and the way they build things is sublime. It is fantastic. And that makes the event for me. It definitely does. 100%. Great seeing Vern. Love him. Olives. But then he started eating cherry
Yeah.
tomatoes, and I said they're sunburnt olives. I said, no, these are tomatoes. I said, no, sunburnt olives.
Yeah.
You had to be there, but it was good.
Yeah. It's just a good event. Like I know that Okto isn't necessary for everyone. Like you know, if you're into night games and stuff like that, that's not going to be your cup of tea, because they don't do them. But it's just a really good. It's a nice group of people. You know, ignoring the issues that kind of around this last event. The only real criticisms I would probably say is from a site constraint. It felt like there was a few pinch points at times, and I think that's just how that site is laid out. There's not really a lot you can do about it. You know, we've had that at multiple sites that we've played at, and potentially at times, the way that Okto events are run is they're quite scripted, or it feels like they're quite scripted. So there was a point where one faction had to move out of an area so another faction could occupy it, so that faction could then re-attack it, and it felt things like that to me just don't. They rub me up the wrong way, but not like in an aggressive way. It just doesn't sit right. It just feels a bit uncomfortable because like if you've got that position to then be told to move out of it so that you can attack it again, just seems a bit strange.
Yeah. I think we had it at Tuddenham, didn't we, when we was PMC?
Yeah.
And we held that ground, the high ground near the church, and then we all of a sudden we had to sort of back off because we essentially cut the map off. And it's just like, but we fought really hard for this location. And now we've almost got to sort of like pull out, but it's one of them. You know, it makes the game, it keeps the game moving.
Which,
forward,
to be fair, probably counters the point about pinch points and choke points and stuff, because you know you can't deal with one and not the other. Like it's
does it grind your
this
gears,
is the
Mike?
This is the plasma gun, by the way.
Oh, look,
that's cool.
Which is pretty cool.
It's very, very impressive.
So, yeah,
very impressive.
So. It does grind my gears, Stephen.
So we had a few comments before we go on to plate carriers. So we'll clear these and then we can have more questions about plate carriers.
Yeah.
Rage. So how much is NAF and how long is it?
So it's £130 because I've looked that up. If you want to stay until the Monday. So the way it works is that you effectively arrive on the Friday, and then you leave on the Sunday, but you can pay an extra tenner to stay till the Monday. If you just want to rock up and camp, that's £65. But from Andy's experience, that wasn't worth it. So yeah, £130 for effectively like a long weekend. You know, it's not terrible. There's a lot of facilities there, but it just wasn't really as good as it was.
There we go. Chris Berry, what was the hit taking like? I think we've answered that one. Harry Badger, have you seen my goat? She called Susan and has a bigger bollocks. So I presume that is a joke from the.
Yeah. So Harry and just a variety of other people. He kept trying to find his goat Susan, who had massive balls. So yeah.
Mark Lance,
there's just
had
so many
any sympathy erections?
No, sadly not. So yeah. It's sort of if you know, you know.
Basically, you know when you're on Stag and you have really stupid conversations. This was basically just
it's like a 4-hour
stupid conversation.
Stag duty conversation around a campfire.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre.
So,
yeah, they do go a bit downhill. Paulus Wales, what do you think of the use of high caps at MilSims? Should those that do be assaulted by a vicious mouse?
Yes, they should be. Oh, a vicious mouse. Now, should it be a mouse-sized mic or a mic-sized mouse?
I was using a high cap at the weekend, right? And I'm going to hold my hands up and say I was using a high cap. The reason is because my house at the moment is pure chaos. Where I'm moving house, I have stuff everywhere, right? And I can't find my mid caps, right? I don't know where they've gone. We have just put things in bags in the loft just to get them out of the way. So I don't know where my mid caps are. So yes, I was using a high cap.
Supposed to be a leader. Wow.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Leading by the
That's
example.
disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing. I can see the disappointment. All the guys
Actually,
posted.
yeah. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed, Mike.
Yeah.
Good. Good. I don't think, to be fair, I fired more than like 100 rounds that weekend anyway. So
And when he did, it was all in one go because he had a high cap, so he could just hold the trigger down.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Was he running around in trainers, one-handed?
Just doing like that under the gun, just tickling it as a fire. What? Go on.
Yeah,
I'll come back to my point in a second.
That's all right. No, carry on.
No, it's not pertinent to that. It's an end to this.
So Dan Brewer, like you said, it's 50-50. As a marshal, I've seen people get hit in the plate carrier, and when you tell the team, they get argumentative about it, and then the other side people moan, saying that they have hit them once the bloke had no mag in. Oh, yeah. I was there for that
hitting
one.
them, mate. Nice. No, you're right, mate. Absolutely.
And then he said, "Welcome to the middle age club, Mike."
Oh yeah.
Thanks, baby. Lots of dad noises when you get up.
Yeah.
Right. Are we done with?
That's all the comments from that section.
Cool. Right.
So
So
now
one specific point, and I'm reaching out to the chap who watches or listens to this podcast, who spoke to us about something that he has made, that we then didn't actually link up after that because I think he possibly had to go early or something. Yeah.
Things. Oh my
please,
God, yes.
please reach out to me. Either on our Instagrams, you can talk to me. If you don't want to talk to me, you can talk to one of the other two, or on our email or whatever. Just get in touch because we want to.
Probably not me because I don't know what's going on.
He has no idea what's talking about.
He has no idea.
Yeah, just get in touch. I apologize. I have tried to track you down as best I can. I am not a super sleuth. I can't find you.
All I know is he was in Bravo section.
Yeah, that's all I know as well. And I've got a rough image in my mind of what he looks like, but I can't find his name. I can't. Yeah, so please get in touch with us. I want to have a chat. Be good, please.
Yes. Thank you very much as well, by the way.
Yes.
Very kind, very kind.
You'll like it, Andy, but I just want to get it sorted out first.
Try it. You might like it.
You've got hand jobs.
Yes.
Yeah?
No.
Obviously.
Oh, I wish I'd gone now.
That's what it's all about, baby.
Hand jobs from a stranger.
Right.
Didn't even
On that note,
didn't
should
even-
we talk
didn't
about
even
plate
t-
carriers?
Didn't even talk. Just,
Yeah.
just literally walked out to each other. Just eyeballed.
Do you want to talk about your plate carrier first, Andy?
I can do.
Yeah.
Have you got a picture, or do you want me to hold
I
it
will
up?
in a second.
Yeah.
Hold it
I,
up.
for some reason, can't
Like
find
we
it
spoke
quick
about
enough.
earlier. How are you going to present it?
Like that.
Hold it up.
This is my plate. Oh shit! This is my plate carrier. Oh god. Yeah, so that's my plate carrier. It hasn't really changed. It hasn't really changed much since the last time we spoke about it. I'm still using the Agilite K1. I can't remember which one it is now. K19. That's the one. I haven't changed it at all since we last spoke about it. Apart from I now have a Agilite dangler pouch to protect the lower belly area and to give me more spaces for snacks. But yeah, it's got a HRT clone placard on the front, which I also wear on my chest rig, and that was made by the lovely man at Mission Tailors.
Ooh, lovely,
So yeah, he did me a good one on that. And yeah, it hasn't changed at all since last time. I've got it's been made a little bit bigger after the accident. There has been some growth in areas that has needed to be adjusted. So yeah, I don't really know what else to, because we've spoken about it already. It's a plate carrier. Check out the other episodes.
What are the key features and roughly how much is it? Because that's always useful. So if people are looking at these plate carriers, how much have they got to spend to replicate what you've got there? Not the helmet, because that would just blow the price out of the water.
Yeah, so let's have a quick look because they've recently had a price change because they brought out their new ones. So I'm just bringing it up now. Let's go to the shop. So the K19 is currently 279 euros. If that's direct. But if and I got the bag with it, which is the AP3 assault pack. That's currently at $141 euros. And then my
We are all over the place in terms of currency.
Yeah,
279 euros is
multi-currency plate carrier.
Yeah, 279 euros is the equivalent of 239 pounds sterling at the time of this recording.
Yep. And then I suppose that the have you got the backpack? Because the backpack fits directly onto the back of the plate carrier, which is something that I quite like.
You have not sent me a picture of the backpack. You have sent me a picture of the front.
Oh well, I can do. Let's do this.
The front pack.
The front pack.
What's that in yen? Stephen Whitehead wants to know.
What's that in yen?
I can look it up. One question I did have, and it was actually something that Danny was running at the Okto event. He had a dump pouch as a dangler, which I thought was quite an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Because, well, you've got a dump pouch on the front.
On my crutch panel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of you see a lot of photos with guys running their dump pouch on the front.
Or tier 1 doing it, mate. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I can see it being particularly useful unless you're crawling along the ground, because then all you're doing is effectively just scooping up everything in front of you.
or running, because you just end up slapping your dick with magazines.
But see, I tend to not. I
either works.
It's 2,162 yen, by the way.
I tend to use my dump pouch very rarely. I tend to re-index. It's only really in a firefight that I'll use the dump pouch.
I must admit, I've slung an extra couple of little bottles of water in my dump pouch more than I have magazines in it. It's just a bit of a carry-all. Do you know what I mean? You can just sling anything in it, which is handy. Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah. So here's the backpack.
Wow.
It comes in a backpack style.
That's very nice. Very tidy.
Yeah.
Minimal
so
strappings and things like that going on.
Yeah. So this is adjustable, so you can actually crush it down quite a lot. So it gets rid of it. And I quite like it because you can fit that's your helmet bag. So your helmet fits in there. And also as well, they've done the inside bit that will take a 3 litre or up to 3 litre source hydration system,
Nice.
which is actually quite nice, being able to have 3. But they've recently brought out this one, which is the micro bag. It looks even better, so I'm going to get one of them.
Of course you are. Why wouldn't you?
Because you can have a sledgehammer in it.
That's a big sledgehammer.
It's a beast, isn't it?
That's not actually in there. That's been photoshopped to buggery onto that.
I was going to say, that looks like someone's put the top of a sledgehammer and then the handle of the sledgehammer and kind of just gone, yoink, there you go.
But also, for all the people that keep losing their caps, it comes with an inbuilt H2O.
That's clever.
Holder.
Very nice. Very nice.
So I'll be getting one of them.
Bendy Gedig.
Excellent, Smithers.
But yeah, that's about it really. It's got quick release system all the way around, although on the one that I'd use that I have the micro or the PT on, I've actually clamped that shut and I've taken off the pull cord for it now, so you can only do it on one side. And I'm going to send it away to get some more stuff done.
Do you ever detach that?
What?
The side that isn't pull cord, take it off.
No.
Like, because I've never used. I've seen so many of them that are the quick disconnect on the shoulders, and I don't think I've ever disconnected them. I usually just kind of put it on like a vest and then do like the one thing up around the waist.
No, I've never done the top. I think it's for like real.
Well, yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's for like emergencies, isn't it? Because you can just
Yeah.
detach the whole thing and take that panel off rather than having to kind of cut it open. Yeah.
That's
Cool.
tidy set up. That I like that.
Thank you.
We also spoke to our resident spuds, so that is Ash and Mark. So Ash, this is his Pegasus. He
That's
runs
the
the Agilite K0, Agilite M4 placard, the Spiritus dangler, and the Spiritus radio pouch.
So this is their latest
Ooh.
paint carrier. So mine's the older one, which is used for. Hang on, so this one's used for more assaulting and swimmer's cut sort of style. So you've got a little bit more movement, whereas mine is more like sort of the front breech man. So it actually has a slightly wider carry shoulders, and I think they're rated to the
Just for
same
carrying
weight.
the sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's Pegasus. So if you want to reach out to him, he is on Instagram, and I know for a fact he would love to answer any questions that you have. We also have Marky Marks. So this is the Gen 1 Viper VX with placard, 3 M4 mag inserts, 2 half flaps. One side is multi-tool and small torch. The other side is free for his backy tin or maps. Tac Sky dual PTT paired with 2 UV5Rs mounted on the back of the cummerbund, pair of shears and training knife, Princeton head torch. And on the rear is a Molly backpack with his 1.5 litre hydration bladder in it, a dangler pouch, and has 2.5 kilo training plates to keep it for it to help it basically sit well and comfortably. So
Lovely stuff.
So
Very
again,
nice.
if you want to ask Mark any questions, feel free to hit him up. Lance, did you want to talk about yours?
Yeah, mate. New edition. This is
It's making big.
So the DCS is in a new loving home now. That went last week. Finally gone. Yeah, to pastures new. Off it went.
I'll sell it one day.
A good wave. Yeah, it was finally gone, and it's been replaced with another War Assault Systems. It's the LPC. Much better fit for me. I did try and adjust the DCS as much as possibly could, but it just was just too big, too bulky for me. Now it never used to be, but it is now. So I've got the LPC. Like Andy said regarding Ash's one, it's got the swimmer's cut to it, so your arms can come across your body a lot more. There's a lot more movement with this compared to the DCS that I've found. Built up wise, it's got the War Assault Systems front opening admin pouch at the top there. It can contain your maps, small bits and bobs, pens, chem lights, shit like that. Emerson was like a Cry knockoff. 3 5.56 mag pouches on the front. I used to have a double stack, so I could carry 6, but it just stuck out loads. So I'm just going to run 3 there now. Couple in my shooter's belt, one in the riff. So 6 mags is plenty for me. And then underneath that, I've got the Cry Precision clutch protector, groin guard, whatever you want to call it, with a MSA Paraclete dump pouch on it. If I can bend that up a little bit, you'll be able to see it there. So that's all that good stuff. Emerson gear, radio holders just behind the quick release cummerbund bits and bobs on both sides, so I can run dual comms with my new 152, my Baofeng 152, and a couple of new little fist mics I picked up. Nothing on the back because I just run a day sack or an assault pack with it, and that's where more hydration and all my other goodies will go in there. So yeah, very minimal. I don't have anything on the sides. Keep all that nice and flush so I can get to my rig or my shooter's belt or my webbing, depending whatever I'm wearing it with. And that is about it. Feels incredible. I've got 2 4 kilo weight plates, one in the front, one in the back. So I'm running 8 kilos of added weight just because MilSim. And it sits comfortable, really comfortable. But I am going to add a little bit of foam on the inside of the back one. I think I was talking to Terry the other day about it. So where it's a flat plate, you can molded plates, so it sort of molds to the curvature of your spine a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit of I've got some old bedroll, so I'm going to cut a rectangle out to sort of stick onto the bottom edge of the. So if that's my weight plate in the back, I'm gonna have like a little bit of foam there, just so it sits into the small of my back a bit, just to add that little bit of soft protection. So I'm gonna give that a go, see how that works. But well happy with it. It's wicked bit of kit. I love it. Really nice. A lot better fit now. I'm looking forward to running it this Sunday at our CQBingness. Give that its first sort of field test, if you like, and rightly so, because that's what I'm predominantly going to be using this for, with the MWS and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, like I said, it's very minimal. Essentially, sort of like 3 areas, and that is literally it. The back's completely empty, the sides are empty, and my comms. So, yeah, that is the beast.
How did you find having the aerial under your shoulder?
I've always
Because
run
obviously that's a much bigger radio than you usually run.
Yeah, it's not really found it, because I run that at the weekend and it was in the same location on my chest rig. It's sort of sitting here, so it's slightly more forward, but it's still in the same area. I never found it to be a problem at all. It was all good. So yeah, no problems with that. I might add a relocation cable there if it does become an issue. I'll find out this weekend. I'll see how I go. Because one thing I will do is I'm going to set this up as if I'm going to a MilSim, although I'm only doing a training day, and I want all the stuff on it that's going to be in the way purely for that reason. Do you know what I mean? There's no point stripping everything back to bare bones or just running a tiny little chest rig with just your mags in, because you're not essentially going to be doing that on a MilSim. You're going to have your kit on you. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be having my kit. I'm going to have my day sack or I'll take my Virtus assault pack at least and be running that as well, just for transitioning and things like that. If anything gets in the way, I can sort of maybe manipulate that during a break and come back and try it again. That's the idea of the training day for me, is ironing out them little issues that I might encounter. So, but yeah, on the whole so far, it's super comfortable, so good. I love it. The shoulder straps and that. I love this flexible. I don't know what this material is, but it's just sits wicked. Sits really nice. But yeah.
Yeah, because we were saying before with your DCS, you couldn't stretch your arms out, could you? So you couldn't. You would
it got to the point where it literally just sort of stopped. Whereas now I can sort of come all the way across my body almost, and I found obviously reaching behind as well is a lot easier now, because obviously the DCS plate it sits a bit wider across the back, in like the upside down triangle sort of thing. Whereas that's not. Where I've got this now, this material on the back as well, it allows that freedom of movement for your shoulders, which I think is really, really good. Really impressed with that. So yeah, I'm excited to use that. So yeah.
Yeah, because that's one thing that I quite like about the
Spuds sold
Agilite.
it to me at a bargain, so very grateful.
It's got elasticated bits.
Mm.
I think somewhere that's got a bit of an elastication, a bit of give on a plate carrier is surprisingly it surprises you how much, even just say like 50 mil movement within the plate carrier straps in certain places is a massive game changer.
Yeah, and definitely adjust your plate carrier with the weight that's going to be in it when you're using it. Don't put it on empty and then adjust it thinking, oh yeah, it needs to come up a little bit. Because when you load it up with your mags, especially if you're running gas mags, they're a lot heavier. Your water bladder, if you've got one of them in there, even your comms and that, it all adds that weight. Make sure it's fully loaded and then put it on, and then say, right, I need to drop the front plate down. I need to adjust the shoulders a bit. And it will sit then how it's going to sit. There's no point doing it empty, because then when you load up with all the kit, it's just going to pull it down again even further, which will just be a nightmare. So yeah, little tip.
Andy advises there is actually an image of how to size or set your plate carrier, which I will find and we will add to our socials.
Yeah. So there's a whole so obviously you don't want it too high, so it's sitting at your throat, because when you kneel down, it's just going to guillotine your face. And it's basically a plate carrier is designed to protect your vital organs, and your vital organs, they say, don't actually technically start until your sternum. So you can find that. There's a couple of variants that I've seen. Some of them are saying so you find that bit of your sternum where it goes in, and then it's like 2 fingers down from that. Some say in line with that. For me personally, I find having 3 fingers for my plate carrier down, so that top finger sits in that little sternum, and then that's where I have my plate carrier, and that's how I adjust my straps. Always adjust your shoulder straps before your side straps or your cummerbunds, because obviously that gets your height. and then your cummerbunds are designed to obviously stop it from turning. So if you have it too high, obviously a lot of people tend to thin around the chest area, and when you try to drop it, it's still just going to be sitting there. So your shoulder plates or your shoulder pads aren't actually doing anything. I know certain gentlemen, and myself included now at the moment, I have to actually have mine a little bit more looser around the stomach area, to stop it. For if I have it too tight, if I kneel down, it still just pushes up because of my belly. My belly. So it is.
That's where you get the bungee cable around your trousers.
Yeah,
clip on and just hold it
straight round your gooch.
Bungees, no.
Yeah, basically straight underneath and hook it on the back. Job done.
But there are some really good articles and some YouTube videos out there of how to fit a plate carrier properly.
I think Garand Thumb does a good one, actually. I think I've seen.
Yep, Garand Thumb. I think Novridge actually has quite a good breakdown of how to wear a plate
Honestly,
carrier.
I've just googled it trying to find the image, and there are hundreds.
Yeah,
there's YouTube, there's loads of websites. Honestly, just if you're interested, have a look on Google, and you'll find many bits of information on it. So,
but we'll get something made up, and we'll throw it up on our website. As Mike will be doing the enemy stuff, I'll probably do a little bit of research into that and get my tapping fingers on.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, fitment is key.
Yeah,
make sure that it's going to fit you properly, as Lance will detest. What's the word? What am I looking for? Attest. That's the one. From the JBG event. Actually having a wrongly fitted plate carrier can actually do you some damage.
Shit, mate, absolutely horrible.
Yeah, and I think
also,
that is what did you knee, because it was just. I won't use rude terms.
Well, it was just pushing off. It was and it wasn't the leg I was stretched. It was the leg that I sort of like collapsed to push off with to go forward. That's the calf that went. I was just like, what? And I've never ever had pain like that. That was bad, but it's better now. It's good now. Back in the game, 3 weeks down. And it's still there. If I hit it, I can still feel that there's an issue there, but I can walk on it normally, like a normal person.
We've said this before. When you've got your kit on as well, and you want to try and size stuff up or test it, try doing all the kind of the weird movements. You know, when you go and try shoes on in a shop, you do this weird walk up and down that you've never done.
See how fast you go now.
Yeah, you've never done that in normal life. You kind of walk up and down, and then you turn and kind of catwalk back. People don't do that. No. Try actually replicating some of the things you do, crouching down behind a wall, peering around the doors and stuff like that. I mean, I've found that with one of the mag pouches on my belt was in just the right position to constantly bash my leg with my pistol mag for an entire weekend, to the point of I was just bruised as anything. So just test that sort of stuff. That's what you need to do.
Definitely.
So, well, I run a Warrior DCS. Mine hasn't really changed for a while now. I've spent a bit of time looking at comms more so than anything else recently. This is my Warrior DCS. These cost. Well, it depends if you can get the deals, because they usually have a 10% flying around UK Tactical, or you can potentially push to 20% depending on certain times of the year. So you can get yourself a bit of a bargain.
Christmas is a good one for Warrior.
Yeah.
Christmas is
I think UK Tactical just had a restock as well, by the way, if anyone's interested in bits and bobs.
And their laser cut stuff is mint.
Yeah, it's a good site. That is UK Tactical for their bits and bobs. I do like their things.
So yeah, I mean, ultimately, I run the magazine pouches and everything like that. Is very dependent on the type of event I'm running. At the moment, it's actually really kind of set up as more of a TL role, in terms of you're not potentially going to be doing too much firefighting. So I've only really got capacity for sort of 4 mags, with one in the gun as well.
That's okay. They're high caps.
They're not all high caps. They're not. Killed Lance.
Boom!
I tend to reduce that down if I'm. Yeah, I tend to reduce that down if I'm running my LMG. or my DMR because I
That's
don't
probably
need
why
as
you use
many
high
rounds.
cappers from going from the LMG to a normal rifle. You're like,
It is quite probably.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the events that I do have some high cap mags, and the only real events that I use them for are things where you're usually up against kids and like skirmish days. Don't make that weird. Like skirmish days or anything like that, where you're up
I didn't say
against.
a fucking word.
You made a face. You made a face.
For all you
So
audio
I've got
listeners out
I've got the Warrior Dangler on that, just the standard one. I do highly advise that if you spend a lot of time on your belt buckles crawling around, don't fill that with stuff. You will spend a lot of your time being very uncomfortable with everything in that dangler pouch, basically digging into your
there. Or make
belly.
sure it's just soft things.
Yeah, that's my Haribo.
Haribo,
if
tangerines.
you fill it with a
boiled
lot of
eggs.
stuff, I just find it's very uncomfortable, and you very much notice it's there.
That's because you're massive balls.
It is my massive balls. The only reason I've got it genuinely is because I was very self conscious of my belly. And with the plate carriers being as they sit, it just looked like I've just got a massive bulge coming out directly underneath it. So that is the predominant reason that I have that dangler pouch. So,
Stepka.
Yeah. So that's the back of my Warrior. So I try to keep it quite clean. I do have one pouch off a field pack, which are normally used for GSRs. Because it just folds down, so you can either have it sort of that square size, or you can extend it up and you can get sort of almost maybe another third of the height. That's normally got pyro in it for the teammate behind me, or spare magazines or anything like that. And I've got my cable relocator for my antenna that runs up on my right shoulder. This is a little bit different to what I ran at the weekend. I had a dual PTT with my comms all in my left side. So I didn't actually have the PTT and everything running over the shoulder. I just had it basically coming up under my left. And then, the only other real difference that I generally tend to run as opposed to other people is the Source 1 litre hydration bladder just behind my right arm, sort of just under my right shoulder blade. You get a litre of water in that. I very rarely notice it being in there. And it means that I've just got that litre on my plate carrier constantly. If you've got a backpack or anything like that, you can obviously run bladders and the like, but where that sits, I can still kind of keep my back free. So if you're doing any vehicle movements or anything like that, getting in and out of vehicles, you don't have a big panel on the back to restrict when you're sitting in the chair or anything like that. I think the only other thing I really wanted to talk about is the fact that I have purposely kept my left quick release free. So the Warrior DCS only comes with one on the top left. The other side doesn't have it. It's just a continuous all the way through. So I've got that for my hydration and my Viper sling. So the Viper over shoulder sling mounts on the back. It mounts actually just under there in the molly. There he is.
Yeah.
There's a little T-bar that mounts in there and then runs over the side. So I've got like a little bungee set up on that. So it's, it's a bit of suspension as you're running along. And then everything else is free from the left. So I can detach that plate carrier from my left shoulder and my left-hand side. And that literally all just comes apart. So I don't have to worry about cabling and anything like that. It's all kind of wired in. That's pretty much it.
Nice.
To be honest with you. So
solid, mate. Solid.
If anyone has any questions about any of the kit, then feel free to talk to us. You can message us on our email of nofochat@hotmail.com. Our Instagram is November_Foxtrot_NoFo, and the website is novemberfoxtrot.co.uk. You can also talk to us on our own individual Instagrams of @9VaultAirsoft, @callsign_Quartermaster, and @the_punished_1_. There was a question that came in from James Dadson. Is it worth the coin for the Warrior Systems versus Emerson?
In what respect, mate?
So I've run both. I literally went from Emerson to Warrior. And I have to admit, Emerson gear is what I would class as probably high-end airsoft gear. It's very well made. It does last. Yeah. So if you would, like, for example, I'm not saying it now, but I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, Viper you would have classed as your entry level kit. They've obviously increased that now. They do have levels within themselves. But Emerson, I've always classed as your higher end airsoft gear, and it does last. My plate carrier lasted me a good 3-4 years, and then I got a little bit bored with it, and then went
But
over to the Warrior
when you
system.
say it didn't last, is that just because you didn't want to use that one anymore, or did it actually start failing?
No, it wasn't failing. There was a few frays here and there where I'd obviously been wearing it a lot and running through bushes and things like that. But it was still sellable. So I sold it on, and then I bought DCS, which was my first one from Warrior. Obviously, Warrior assault systems, they're real steel, so they are going to be better than, say, Emerson, Viper. I don't know who else does airsoft gear.
You say that. I mean, I was talking to one of the Viper reps. Now, I appreciate this is potentially a bit of a sales pitch, but from my understanding, they've actually won some contracts with various forces and police and stuff like that. So, I mean, we say real steel, but ultimately, you know, some of these bits of kit are being used.
To police forces. I know they do a lot for that. Whether they do military stuff, I'm not sure, but
that's what I mean. Like Viper within themselves have got their own tier system now.
Yeah.
Like when I first started playing airsoft, Viper was you buy it lasts you 3 or 4 games. But now they've within the last 4 or 5 years, they have an half leaps and bounds.
Certainly has
leaps and bounds. And there's nothing wrong with when I said Viper gear. It was more of an example.
Oh, sorry,
of the
fair
tier system. Yeah. I've still got. I still run the new. Or I say new. The VX Viper Sling. Absolute cracking bit of kit. Cannot fault it. It cost me 39 quid or 25 quid. Compared to
on
the
my
ones
plate,
that
they're Emerson gear. They are. The radio pouches are Emerson, and then it's on a Warrior platform. You know, it's what works really. But yeah, I've had no issues with it at all. Near the kit. I mean, I had some Viper the G3 trousers for 2 or 3 years. Never ripped. Nothing. Wicked. Absolutely wicked. Couldn't fault them.
Yeah.
I think the only thing with it is obviously the colorings are slightly different to like proper MTP or proper multicam.
That would depend. So Emerson gear now do blue label. Yeah. So Emerson gear now do blue label stuff, which is basically leftover cry and actual like properly treated military grade camos and things, which is what they use now for their blue label. So that's another thing as well. Emerson do levels within themselves now, so you can buy a cheap old Emerson one, or you can go for the blue label one, which is a little bit more expensive, but it's pretty much the same as a real steel. Like my old Emerson multicam trousers, the Gen 3s. We held them up to someone that was wearing cry, and to be honest, other than it being only double stitched in certain places, you couldn't tell the difference.
No, it's cool, mate. No,
yeah,
cool.
But yeah, it's what your budget.
I've never owned any Emerson gear myself, but the only thing I know about Emerson is the fact they do those arm sleeves that we talked about prior.
Oh yeah,
which just amused me.
Oh yes.
But no, generally, for me, if someone said you can either have a Warrior assault system or you can have an Emerson. For me personally, because I know Warrior, I would go with a Warrior. But if it was down to money and I could save myself 50 quid, I'd go with Emerson.
Arm sleeves. That's the way forward. It's the way forward.
That's what you need. Gaiters for your arms.
Got to have your arm sleeves, mate. One thing I forgot to mention about Okto as well, if anyone's at Camp Alpha in the main camping area coming up and they find one side of a Mystery Ranch sternum strap, please keep it for me because I can't find half of my Mystery Ranch mystery cinch sternum strap.
Camp Bravo.
No, it was Alpha we were at, mate.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take your word for that.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a Camp Bravo, that's probably why I didn't find it, because someo's taken it to Camp Bravo. But
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
blew in the wind and the rain.
If anyone does come across it, I'll be eternally grateful if you can. Lance, you're very quiet. Hello? Don't know. Let me turn myself up a little bit. Yeah,
we're just
so if anyone does come
we're just
across
slowly muting him down.
that- yeah, that's not very nice, is it? I'll put me off.
I'm really not. Just clarify.
So yeah, if anyone does come across it looks like a T-bar with a little, I think I can't remember if it's the male or female bit, but you'll see it. It's like a tanned T-bar bit with a bit of multicam and like a metal orientation at the end. So yeah, please keep it safe for me. I'm very upset. It's not cheap Mystery Ranch stuff.
Harry's at Alpha this weekend, and he'll do a sweep for you.
Cheers,
Yeah.
mate. Thanks very much. I did have a look after I moved the truck, and I couldn't see it anywhere. So I'm hoping I'm yet to have a good look around at home, mate. So I might find it. We shall see.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so conscious of time, we will be back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. If you want to share any pictures of your plate carrier setups at all, then feel free to do so.
Yeah.
Or Facebook, throw them in the chat. Don't know what you can do on YouTube. Don't think you can attach pictures.
We'll open up a thread.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, if you are on Insta
You can tag
only
us.
and not, tag us, and we'll definitely drop you a like and maybe even a sexy comment.
Yeah.
Maybe even a story share.
ding dong.
Ding dong. Indeed, sir.
That was donated by Chris
Loving
Berry.
the new sound bites. Love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next week we're going to be talking about the NME event. We'll be doing a bit of a Q&A on it. We'll probably run out of things to talk about on it, so we may just do more of a general Q&A towards the end of it as well, but we'll wait and see. So if you have any questions, then please feel free to throw them at us in advance, or join us next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Who would like the closing words?
I'm going to give Toothless.
Ooh, closing words. Oh, I've got a closing words.
Oh, God.
Uh,
Cut him off halfway through.
I know what this is.
I've got closing words. Hopefully, Flo and Paul's still listening, and whoever's ran that campfire that night. But yeah, well, I suppose it's basically. Well, I've got a question. Well, it's not really a question; it's more of a statement, really.
Gonna finish off?
Oh yes. Oh, there's another part to it, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, I'll say it again. Right. I've got a question. Well, it's more of a statement, really. Once upon a time, I wrote naked on a piece of paper and wiped it all over my face. It was absolutely brilliant.
He did that for the whole weekend, just repeatedly.
But it's only every time we got a briefing. So, anyone got any questions? Oh, I've got a question. Well, it's not really a question. It's more of a statement, really.
On that note, in the meantime, for join us next week. You
If you
can
want.
drop
Don't
us
feel-
a
don't feel
like and a
pressured.
thumbs up and all that stuff.
Yeah, bells. Tickle the bell.
Bells and whistles.
Leave us a review. Mike
Do some
hasn't had a review
reviews.
for ages. We need to get him doing some weird, dodgy
Apple
accents.
Podcasts, reviews on there, Spotify. I think you can review.
Yeah. And if you choose
5
a language,
stars.
Mike will read it out in that
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
accent.
In that native
Not the
tongue.
language.
Not the language.
Yes,
There we
yes.
go. I before the show asked my daughter to leave us a little soundbite. So thank you for watching.
Baba Foxtrot.
So there you go.
That's brilliant.
Literally melts
And we'll
my
be
heart.
back next week. It's great. Have a good week, and we shall see you next week. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Guys,
Ciao,
Stay
Bella.
nice.
Ciao.
Stay NoFo.
Noise.
what's
See you later.
Baba Fox talk.